Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Slasher Movie Club, episode 62. And this one is a special one. Coriander's with me, as always. What's
Hey,
going on?
I love what you did with the intro. That's
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
like
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
You know me. I have a lot of ideas. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was
It's
fun.
good. Yeah.
I'm gonna, you know me, I'll be tweaking it forever. But yeah, I kind of liked it. It was nice. Um,
Yes.
so tonight we are going to do something that and I'm speaking for me, of course, but to me is very special because we are revisiting what was the first movie we ever did for Slasher Movie Club, and it was a
Yeah.
recommendation by you, Coriander.
Mm.
And this movie it means a lot to me, just like this series. And so I'm really excited that we're going to be talking about 1972's Sisters, directed by the iconic, the legendary Brian
Yeah.
De Palma. um, and we have a surprise for you guys as well, and I'm really excited about that too. But let me see who we have in the chat and we'll get going on this thing for Slasher Movie Club. Seth's in the chat saying hi. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up? And we got my man Russell. He
Yep.
knows what's up. He knows what to do. He comes
Yeah, he
in, he
does.
hits the like button. Much love, Russell. Much love.
Hmm.
Let's see who else we got. We've got my man Dan in the chat. Oh wow. Thanks so much, Dan. $2 super chat.
Yeah.
Happy
Hey,
Halloween
Dan.
ends week, everyone. All right, Dan.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much. And I know Dan has seen this movie before, so it'll be interesting to hear his thoughts as
Hmm.
well. All right. Val's in the chat. The general, of
Ah,
course, is in the chat. What's going on?
nice.
Yeah. Um, Dan, the look Margot is giving is the same look I get when I leave the toilet seat up.
See, I used
Too
to have to
funny.
deal with that, but I'm so glad I don't anymore. So
Right,
thank you,
right.
Knight.
No problem, no problem, babe. Our good friend Steven from Craven
Hey,
Something Scary is in the chat.
nice.
Saying, hey, Night, Coriander in chat, found a few minutes that I could hop on. Love you guys. Thanks so much, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
You're all right. You're all right.
Love.
Right? And speaking of love, here's my man Gore, Gorephobe himself.
Nice.
What's up, bro? Saying, yes, this is funny because I'm doing this Unforgotten Film Archive watch along soon. Oh, all right. Okay.
Ooh. It'll be a
And
fun watch along.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Val Knight does have a talent for putting intros together. Thanks, thanks, Val.
He certainly does. Yeah.
I appreciate that. You guys are all
He's
right.
talented at many things. No.
And our good friend Eric, also in the chat. So happy you guys are redoing this episode. Knight knows my love for Margot and how this is a new favorite slasher of mine. Dude, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah,
Mm.
and much love to you and everyone, but also you guys that have been around for a long time. Dan, and obviously when we have a surprise and that person also just such a supporter of this series. This really is a passion
Yeah.
series that we just keep clawing, scratching and clawing, talking about movies that a lot of people haven't heard of and may not even give a crap about, but we're gonna keep doing it because that's what we do.
That's right.
Coriander,
Damn it. Yeah.
we got a lot to unpack, but let me just ask you this
Yeah.
because I do want to unveil our surprise in a minute. But this movie, you recommended this movie early in our
Yeah.
channel journey. What about this
Early in
movie?
our relationship when we were talking movies,
That's
I
right.
I
That's
mentioned
right.
this movie.
You
So
did.
yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
What does this movie? What comes to mind when you think of this movie?
Ah, you know, it's I love Psycho, and there's elements to this that make you think of Psycho and the music in this movie.
Yes.
Um, I love the camera work, um, the split screen that they did
Hmm.
was, I mean, it was perfect with this movie, and Margot was incredible, playing Danielle and Dominique, and
Yes.
yeah, I mean, there's just so many good things about this movie that, I mean, I could keep going, but I'm not because yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a great movie.
It really, really is. And again, you endorsed it, and I'm so glad I finally got a chance to watch it when I did. And now
Yeah.
this is definitely one that I really, really enjoy. Russell,
Yeah.
speaking the truth, saying I loved her in Black Christmas. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gore saying Sisters is such an underrated De Palma
Yeah.
film.
It's like one of my favorite De Palma films.
Yeah, I mean, and think
Yeah.
about the movies that Brian De Palma has done.
Mhm.
Dress to Kill, Carrie, your favorite
Yeah.
horror
I know
movie,
that's another one. Yeah.
Scarface, The
Ooh.
Untouchables,
Yeah.
Carlito's Way,
There's
Casualties of
so
War.
many. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
so many.
yeah, I
We
mean,
need to
he's
do a thing with him with just his movies, and we need to like
th-
review them and do them because there's so many good ones.
yeah, that would be a great idea. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hey to Jason's in the chat too. What's up? What's up? Um,
Hello.
and Eric saying Margot is the only reason to watch Black Christmas, in my opinion. Yeah, Eric's not
Yeah.
big on Black Christmas, but that's
Awesome.
okay. That's okay. It's
Do you
okay.
like the remake, Eric? I am curious.
That is an interesting conversation because he does. He does.
Oh,
He
okay. See, I had
does.
a
He
feeling
does.
he did. I had a
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um, but yeah, this movie is really, really interesting. I think what I'd like to do is just kind of touch upon some of the high points of it. But Margot Kidder is just really fantastic in this movie. She plays, a model, and the opening of the movie
Yeah.
is very comedic. You've
And
got
an
this little
actress.
yes, and an actress. And the opening of this movie is like a game show that she's on, where they're
Yeah.
basically got her
Guess
as
the
a plant.
scenario. One of your favorite, things to
Yeah.
do yourself.
Yeah, she's portraying a blind person who's getting undressed in a locker where there's a guy there, and the audience is asked, "What do you think the guy will do? Will
What
he
would the
say
pervert
something?" And
do?
yeah,
No.
it was really,
Sorry.
really it was fun stuff in the
Yeah.
beginning of it, and of course, the two of them, they have a relationship, and so forth and so forth, and so it's a very interesting setup. But like a lot of movies, the setup is there, and sparks fly, and then some shit happens. And before we get to the shit happening, um Coriander, let me just jump back to the chat for a second. Eric was saying I love the '06 remake for Black Christmas. Yes,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
knew that. I knew that.
Alright.
And he's also talking about another underrated De Palma movie is Raising Cain with the great
Yeah.
John Lithgow. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Gore is a fan on the original Black Christmas, and I knew that too. Yeah. Well, guys, what I also wanted to do is I wanted to get a different perspective on this movie that means so much to me and Coriander, and it means so much to this series and what we've been able to do. This is our 62nd episode. Um, and so I thought to myself, well, we got to bring in an OG. We got to bring in someone who has literally watched
Yeah.
every episode of this series that
That's
we've done.
awesome.
Um,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
one of those folks that I always like listening to his perspective on movies, and he just has a great take. Let me bring him right now. We got Neil from Neon Black Reviews. Hey, what's going
Hey
on,
guys,
man?
Hello.
how is everybody?
Hey,
Good. How you
we're doing
doing?
great.
Oh, doing good. Like the introduction, talking about, I've seen all of these things, and believe it or not, this was a first time watch for me.
Wow.
I've never seen this movie, but I
Wow.
did watch it
Okay.
twice,
Ooh.
so I feel
Nice.
like I'm fairly familiar with it. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Hmm.
Nice.
I don't
Well,
know what to say. This is
yeah.
awesome.
No, it
I
is
hope it's
awesome.
awesome, right?
Well,
Oh shit.
well,
That makes me a little nervous.
well, yeah, but I also really enjoy getting a perspective from someone
Yeah,
who is fresh to this, just like you
right.
enjoyed seeing my reaction when I first saw
I
this movie, Coriander,
did.
you know?
And
So,
then with Glenn Killian, and yeah,
yes,
that
that's
was
right.
great.
Kill did
Hmm.
watch it as well, and he thought it was fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Neil, let's throw it to you for a minute. What are some of your overall takes on Sisters?
yeah,
Well, I can definitely say that this is a 1970s horror film.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to get too far into it to realize, its place in time. This was definitely from the 70s. And I mean, it is just a true '70s horror film, basically in every aspect of it.
Hmm.
Obviously, when you go back and watch a film, like this one, especially, if you haven't seen a lot of them, which, I have, I just haven't seen this one yet or until last night. Um, as you watch these films, I mean, you see things in them that remind you of 100 other films that you have seen,
Yeah.
from more recent times, and it just makes you think. It's like I'm watching where all of this started.
Yes.
You take the horror film,
Hmm.
especially from the '60s and the '70s, and you see where pretty much every horror film we have today got its inspiration.
Mm.
And Coriander mentioned when y'all were first getting started that you see elements of Psycho in this film,
Yes.
especially with the kill that happens towards the beginning of the film. I mean, it's just straight up Alfred Hitchcock. I mean, that's
Yes.
just it's a little more bloody, it's a little more violent,
Yeah.
but at the same
Yes.
time, you're definitely, you're thinking of the shower scene in Psycho when you watch this film, and it doesn't even take place in a shower, but it still reminds you so strongly of it.
Yes.
But there's
Mhm.
just, as you go through this film, there's just so much about it that you see in, more modern films, where they got their inspiration from. So,
Hmm.
is this an underrated gem from the '70s? I think so.
Wow. All
Yeah.
right. Very
That's
and,
awesome.
and very well said. And I think
Yes.
to your point, and Coriander, I'm sure that you can jump in on this too. Is that you're right? When you watch a movie like this, it's kind of like a history lesson.
Mm.
You can see where movies have been inspired by others and others and others, and then we get to more modern day, '80s, '90s, and 2000s and so forth, slasher movies, and this movie definitely had a lot of elements in it, and of course, as we all have said, it also was inspired by Psycho. And I mean, you really can't get better than that as far as being inspired, as far as that movie, and of course the great Alfred Hitchcock. Coriander, do you see it like that as well? Especially because you've seen so many slasher movies, even before we started this series and so forth. Does this movie, hold that prototype type of level for what was to come after it?
I mean, this if you haven't seen this movie and you're into slashes, this movie is like, Neil said it the best. I mean, you have elements of Alfred Hitchcock, and even with the music,
Hmm.
and just it's one of the best ones out there.
Mm.
And I mean, this is definitely top level for this genre. And
Mm.
I mean, to me, it's like a perfect movie. I really can't say anything bad about this.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
for me, it's in that perfect list, that category of, which is small, but
Hmm.
this movie is definitely there.
Absolutely. And real quick too, in the chat, I just wanted to make sure that I said this because we've got some folks saying hello to Neil, Val, saying hello to Neil, and Eric, and Gore, and Dan. Everybody's happy you're here, Neil, just like we are.
Yeah,
Well, hello,
right?
everybody. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, absolutely. Eric said, I love De Palma using his classic split screen in
Mm,
this one, like he did with Carrie. Yeah, absolutely. Some great shots in this movie. It's just very well
mhm.
done. It's a clean,
It is.
well done movie. Like as soon as I
Yeah.
started watching it that very first time, and I can still remember my first experience with it right from the beginning. I was like, okay, this is going to be good, and it truly is. But just to also just talk a little bit about what's going on because I've shown some images here. Margot Kidder, obviously being the lead in this role, once her and her newfound lover spend some time together, something unfortunately happens to him, which Neil was alluding to, is that he gets killed, and
Yeah.
we see a scene where Margot Kidder is in the bathroom and she's talking to someone who we find out is her twin sister. And so all of a sudden, this is starting to just kind of just snowball into something bigger. And he leaves to get a birthday cake because it's their birthday, and comes back, and he's, thinking that it's Margot Kidder, and goes up to her and puts the birthday cake there, gives her this knife that's better served to be in Michael Myers' hands, right? And next thing you know, he gets stabbed by
Mhm.
Dominique, the sister. And this whole story plays out because the killing is seen, and we see it from the split screen,
Yep.
by a news reporter. And that's really where a lot of this starts to play out, because this news reporter, played by
Mhm.
Jennifer Salt, is like a bloodhound trying to, solve this case and get the cops to, find the body, and so forth. So,
Yeah.
and so forth and so forth. The setup of this movie is so good, and seeing it play out, because you feel, at least for me, I feel for Margot Kidder in this role, because she's playing Danielle, and her sister Dominique seems to be, and obviously with the killing, seems to be totally unhinged. You could hear it in the
Mhm.
conversation that they have, and so forth and so forth. And then of course you bring in her ex-husband, who's super creepy in this movie. But
Yeah.
interestingly enough, especially in the beginning of the movie, he's the one that helps to hide the body.
Yeah.
He's cleaning up the house, and doing all these
Yep.
the apartment, and trying to hide
Yep.
the body so this ex-wife isn't going to be arrested and caught for murder. So it's a great setup, and it really plays with a lot of questioning, so to speak. Coriander, I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Neil. When you first saw this movie, did that element, that mystery type of element, was that something that was really interesting to you? Because for me, it was, because I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and wondering if she was going to get caught.
Yeah, I mean, this movie it has that throughout the whole thing. You're
Hmm.
wondering what is going to happen to her,
Yes.
because you've got, this chick after her, then you end up having a private detective who's helping her. And yeah, you gotta love those movies because
Yes.
they keep you wondering, and it keeps you into it. There is really no slow part to this movie. It
Hmm.
just keeps going. And these cops, man, when she's like, I saw this guy get murdered, I know he's here, and they're just like, oh, whatever, we read your article, we know how you really feel. And
Right.
so they were just like treating her kind of shitty. And
Yes.
so, I mean, yeah, it's just such a good movie. And
Yeah,
it's,
it is.
yeah, yeah,
And also, just a shout out for you guys, of a certain generation. If you watched a lot of TV sitcoms like me, you might remember a sitcom in the '80s called "Gimme a Break," and the lead cop here, that's Dolph Sweet from that show. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh my God, he's the one playing Detective Kelly!" And I thought it was really cool to see him. You also have a very young Olympia Dukakis in the movie as
yeah,
well.
you
She
do.
plays
Yep.
one of the ladies in the
Decorators.
bakery.
Yeah. Well, not a
Yes,
decorator, but she worked in the shop. Yeah.
yes, there she is right there. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just that type of person. I always love seeing some of these actors in their former years and stuff like that. But Neil,
Definitely.
yeah. But Neil, what about you, as far as this whole plot of the killing, and trying to hide the body, and trying to elude this news reporter, and so forth? What did you think about that, or were there any favorite scenes of yours in the movie?
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, Jennifer Salt. She is one of the writers and producers for American Horror Story.
Yes.
Nice.
So yes, she's still in the business today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just starting out, again, a first time watch, and then when I got home this afternoon, I watched it again just to to refamiliarize myself with it. And I mean, this is like a classic '70s mystery horror film where there are no wasted scenes. Every scene is important for one reason or another. And
Mm-hmm.
when you go back and rewatch it, especially like I did, really, really soon, you realize that not only are all the pieces to the puzzle there, they're showing you the pieces before they become important. You don't even know that that's part of the puzzle.
Yeah, good point.
Um, it's just everything is, I won't say it's telegraphed, but it is definitely put into the film so it doesn't come out of nowhere.
Mm.
You're familiar already with everything as it comes together. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those films that you keep watching it to see what's going to happen next,
Yeah.
and just where is it ultimately going to go? Because I mean, when it first starts, that first murder, you're like, what the hell? Why?
Mm. Yeah. Yes,
Mhm.
that's a good point. It was out of the blue. You weren't ready for it, and it was a pretty good kill scene too, man. Because that knife stabbed him right in the mouth, and
Yeah,
for
Yes.
1972, it looked good. You
but
Yeah,
know.
it did.
the way that they do it, though, again, it's a very Hitchcock style thing
Mm.
where you don't see the knife actually go into his mouth. You see it as a shadow on the
Yes.
wall. But
Yes.
then, it's, breaks away from Hitchcock. You see the aftermath of it.
Yes.
And as he's laying on the floor, his mouth is all fucked up and blood's
Oh.
just running everywhere. So, I mean,
Yes.
1972, this was an absolutely brutal kill. I mean, you didn't
It
see
was
Absolutely.
this stuff
good.
except for, exploitation films and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, it's true.
Definitely yeah, you were not seeing this on a in a mainstream theater back in
Hmm.
1972.
Yes, absolutely. And Eric, talking about how he hides the body and does all these things like he's done it before, very creepy when you think about it. True enough, because I think
Yeah.
that's another thing that is kind of like unanswered is like, has this happened before or how many times? Because he definitely had a game plan. He was ready. He was the cleanup guy, and he
Yeah.
really
And that
knew.
couch, that was like
Yes,
so perfect to hide the body.
it
And the
was, man.
fact that it could fit in there, I
Yeah.
mean, that it was brilliant. You know,
Yes.
like this movie,
Yes.
it's brilliant.
Yes. And what's up to Katie? Katie's in the chat too. What's going on,
Hello.
Katie? Nice to see you. And Eric making a great point. I definitely was going to say too, saying, man, I miss Margot Kidder, a great actress that also lived by the beat of her own drum, took no
Yeah.
crap, just like, unfortunately, the late, great Carrie Fisher. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back
Um,
in the early, not early, but like I can't remember what the exact date was, but she was at Rock and Shock, and it was her birthday. And I've said this before on the first channel, and it was the Crypt Keeper's birthday. So they sang happy birthday to both of them. And I mean, yeah, it was incredible to see her from across the way. And I didn't
mhm.
get to meet her, unfortunately, but I did see her, and it was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I
Yeah,
would have loved to have met her. She's been in
yeah,
so many movies that mean so much to me,
yeah.
and of course, anyone that's watched my channel, my fascination with Superman, as a boy growing up at that time,
Yeah.
and she was Lois Lane. She'll always be my Lois Lane,
Just like
So
Christopher Reeves. I mean, he's
just like
gonna
Christopher
always
Reeve.
be Superman.
Yep,
And
Yeah,
like
she
I
was in all
absolutely.
said, I
four of
think
the
his
original
son,
films, right?
What was
hmm,
that?
She was in all four of the original films, right?
Yes. Yep. 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 She was fantastic, man. I really enjoyed her
yeah,
in that role. Yep.
yep,
And we also have another person who I absolutely love, Charles Durning as
hmm,
Larch, who was kind of
yeah,
like the private investigator guy. And of course,
yeah,
he's been in so many great things. We've talked about him on our episode of Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, also When a Stranger Calls. And, just he's fantastic and he had great scenes. But one thing I want to do is as we get near to the second half of this movie, things kind of change when you start to see the relationship with Emil and Danielle, and you start to realize that she's got a lot of stuff going on, and those
hmm,
scenes were creepy as hell the way they were shot. And I guess what I'm saying is, and I'll pass it to you in a second, Coriander, when you realize how creepy things are. And Jennifer Salt, who was playing Grace Collier, the news reporter, she's basically on the trail of these guys. And even when she goes to the Institute looking for them, and I just felt this sense of dread for her the whole time. How
hmm.
about you, Coriander? Like she had no clue what she was getting herself into.
She didn't, she was just trying to find the victim who she murdered. That's all she
Hmm.
wanted to do.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, this poor girl, she she gets hypnotized and
Yes.
she gets messed with by this guy. And
Yeah.
I mean, what a creep this doctor is. This is like the doctors you hear about that abuse your patients and
Hmm.
do fucked up shit too. And I mean, I get, Danielle was, you know, I don't want to get him confused. Was
Yeah.
Danielle was the good one,
Daniel.
right?
Yeah. Daniel was a good one.
Okay.
Yep.
So I mean, you just felt bad for her because obviously, when her twin, you learn that her twin died when they got separated and she hasn't quite accepted it. And you learn a whole bunch. I don't want to give it away because for people who hasn't seen it, I don't want to give absolutely everything away that would make you understand why she ended up killing this guy. And yeah, it's like I said, this is a really entertaining movie. And
It is.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't.
It is.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. And one thing, and one of the last things I want to touch upon, because I don't want to go all the way with the ending of it, but the scene with the hypnotism and of course Grace being a captive, I thought it was really well done and very creepy. Neil, what did you think of that scene?
Well, first of all, I mean, you nailed it. I mean, that doctor is like one of the creepiest guys you'll ever see on screen.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
those glasses and that mustache thing he's got going on there,
Mm.
whatever
Plus,
Mm-hmm.
that.
he's got creepy eyes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's just yeah. It's just
and
creepy.
you see him in the opening of the film where they're on the game show. He's out in the audience reading a book, not even paying attention. And you the first time I saw him, I was like, "That's somebody important. It's got to be,"
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, he would
Yes.
stand out like that if he was not somebody that was going to come into this film later on. And of course, he does. But yeah, the whole hypnotism scene is just I mean, it's not like uncomfortable. It's just he looks so damn creepy. It's like you don't want to look
Mm. Yes.
at the way
Yes.
that he talks, and of course he's telling her, there was no murder because there was no body,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mhm.
drilling it into her head.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so it's like, ugh.
Yeah, and the way he was like, "There was no murder because there was no body." Repeat,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she
and
would
that was
repeat.
the other thing too. It's like, he
Yeah,
would say repeat.
yes,
He wouldn't say
and
like
then
say it again. He would just
yeah, and then he'd say, "Good."
repeat.
Yeah, and there was no body, and she said, "There was no body because there was no murder." Good. And also, and he was just he was absolutely fantastic in that role. I
Yeah.
mean, seriously, he made it for that's William Finley, and I think he was fantastic in that role. But what I want to do, guys, is we've already kind of talked about it, but for those who just jumped in, I know Cody just jumped in. I want to just kind of give our own little, it's kind of like the way we just say, should people watch this thing? I don't want to get into the end of it because I think it's one of these movies you've got to watch
Yeah.
and
If you
just
haven't seen it.
you've got to experience it. The last
Hmm.
25 minutes especially. So as we usually do this, and I was tempted to change this a little bit, and I still might coriander, so you better be ready. But right now we've got
Uh-oh.
the simplistic version of
You
what we
better be
think of these
ready.
movies. So
Right?
either it's a recommended, meaning that it's absolutely excellent. We've got the chance it, meaning that it's all right. And then of course we've got skip it, meaning that it is truly dark territory. Don't touch it, don't watch it. And I'm talking to you. Don't go in the woods alone. All right. So
How
Coriander,
is that
we're
different?
no. I'm saying I was tempted to do
Oh,
a
I
different
was
type
gonna
of
say.
scoring, but I'm
Okay. I
keeping
was
it
like, how is
simplistic.
this different?
I'm
All
keeping
right,
it
man.
simplistic for now. So, what are you going with, Coriander, for
I
a
recommend it.
sister's recommended? How about you, Neil?
To a horror fan, I recommend it.
Okay,
To somebody that doesn't, watch a ton of horror movies, I would say chance it because I mean this is a '70s film, and
true.
that's what it, that's how it is. Can't
Hmm.
change it, but yeah, to
Yeah,
my friends that like horror movies, I would recommend this.
yeah. I like the way you said that because it's so true. Because even with something like Psycho, which is absolutely a legendary movie, I think you have to be a horror fan, and and a certain kind of horror fan in a way, as far as being open-minded to watch movies that are, 35, 45, 50 years old, and go into it understanding that, and enjoying what you can enjoy from it. And this movie definitely falls, even though this movie is 12 years, newer than Psycho, it's made in that mold. So it does, a horror fan could appreciate it, but an average moviegoer, I don't know if they could really appreciate it as much unless they're, you know, like I said, a horror fan, maybe a fan of Margot Kidder or something like that. But I agree with both of you guys, because I'm going to also go with a recommended, but also with the caveat of, it's got to be a horror fan. It's got to be a horror fan. Now, let me just catch up to the chat, and I want to do one more different thing, because this is all about, kind of going back to the past with this movie, but also moving forward into the future. Eric saying, yeah, you can't spoil the end to this one. I was yelling at my TV for half my watch of it, trying to figure it out. Yes, 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 yes. It's true. It's true. Um, and Cody just getting into the Phantasm movie, and
Ooh,
that's awesome. I'm always
that is
happy to hear
awesome.
that. And Eric,
Absolutely.
yeah, Eric is going through Phantasm. Obviously, Neil is a fan of the Phantasm series. It doesn't get enough love. It truly doesn't, and I'm so glad that
Yeah.
that we've been able to talk about it. Neil's talked about it, and Eric's talking about it on his channel. And I hope more people talk about it, because it deserves more love than it gets. It truly, truly does.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, and Eric also saying he's going with recommend. Excellent.
Hmm.
Excellent. So let's do this, guys, just for fun, for a quick second. This is something that I've done on my Thursday morning streams. We talk about slasher movies, this subgenre, and sometimes you got to wonder, if you were in these situations, how would you fare? So, this is basically a what if scenario game. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a scenario. I'm going to read it to you guys. I'll start with Coriander and then to Neil, and just ask you guys, what would you do? And these scenarios might seem familiar to some folks that have followed us on Slasher Movie Club. And, maybe not, but that's what it is. So let's put up our first scenario for tonight. Okay, here we go. You wake up to a dead, mutilated body. You realize there is blood all over you and a bloody knife in your hand. What do you do? Okay, Coriander, I'll pose that scenario to you.
Damn. So then that would be you. That would mean that this mutilated body would be you next to me. So
Nobody
shit.
said that. Go. Wait a minute.
Who
Let's
else would be
pause.
next to me?
Look, man. Let's just first of all,
All
let's not
right.
get that real. Like
All
you're in a
right.
movie scenario. I don't want to be dead and
Oh,
mutilated.
I don't want you dead and mutilated either. Okay.
Right?
I would fucking wait. I would keep the knife and, try to be as quiet as I can because did I kill this person? Probably not. I think I'd
Ah,
remember that.
okay.
So, and I'd get the fuck out of there and yeah, go to the cops, man. That's what I'd
Okay.
do.
Okay. That's I did not expect that. You always get me. All right. So Neil, what do you think of this? What do you think you'd do in this scenario if you were in it? Of course, you'd never be in this scenario, but what if you were?
Well, I would call the doctor from this movie to come clean this shit up because he is fine.
Nice.
I love it. I love
But no,
it.
that would probably be what I would try to do is clean it up as best I could and hide the body somewhere. It's like, Alexa, where's a good place to hide the dead
Oh
body?
man.
I mean, yeah. Oh, now she's going to answer me. Oh, shit, I forgot I had one in this room. Yeah. I don't know. Probably just freak the fuck out. I mean, to be honest with you.
Right? Yeah, I'd freak
I
out
don't. I
too,
don't think
man.
I fare too well in horror films. I really don't, because I can't
Yeah.
run, and I ain't smart enough to find a way out. I just end up in jail.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting you said that, because, ironically, last night when we did our Creep Show watch along for our channel members, which, by the way, if you are not a channel member, join us because we are having a blast every Sunday night at 8 watching the Creepshow TV series. Is fantastic. But in that episode, that was kind of, what was going on is that he was in these movie scenarios. So, and of course, he didn't fare well. And I got to agree with you. I don't think I'd fare well either because the first thing I'd do is be freaking out. I'd be like,
Mm,
oh my God, what happened? What happened? And of course, I would believe that I didn't do it. But, in this situation, it's like there's blood all over me. I got the knife in my hand. This body is mutilated. What a scenario to be in. I would freak out. And I don't even know what I'd do. I'd probably call 911, but I'd be I'd be no good, man. I'd be messed up, no doubt.
Mm-mm.
No doubt. Um, for any of you guys in the chat, if you want to answer that, feel free. Val saying I would just go back to sleep and hope it was a
that's
nightmare.
a good one.
Val, what are you doing?
That's
Oh,
the best
that's a good
answer.
one.
Oh
Right?
my God. That is great. Oh my God. Russell saying somebody set me up and definitely don't go to the cops if you remember Hatchet 3, Danielle Harris. That's a good point. That's a good point. Oh my God. Cody saying, shit, what was in this drink? Oh well, time to hide the body and knife and get new clothes and never speak about this again.
Mm-mm.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Uh, let's do one more. And this one, and also, if anyone can remember what this scenario is from, you get extra points because this was definitely one of those movies that was kind of like an unknown gem to the majority of folks. Okay, so here's our
Oh
second
no.
scenario, but it was covered on Slasher Movie Club, so
We've
that's the
done
good
so
news.
many. That's why I said, oh no, because I
62,
probably
baby,
won't know. Well,
62.
besides all the other movies we've watched, I mean,
I
come
know,
on.
I know. Okay, here we go. You're on a cruise that shipwrecks near an
Oh
island.
God.
You and 5 others go there and realize the island town is completely deserted. A crazed maniac monster is at large. What do you do? Coriander, I'm going to pose that to you.
Well, since I was on a cruise, that cruise is going to have an inflatable boat that I'm going to, you know, throw in the water and jump in it and stay on. I'm just going to head for another land. I'm not going to this one. No, because I already know what movie you're talking about and I'm
Right?
skipping
Okay, you
it.
know. Okay, all right.
I'm
Good one.
skipping it.
You're skipping it. You're not going to deal with that crazy
I'm going to
monster,
the next island.
wherever it may be.
Yeah.
All right. Neil, how about you? How would you handle this situation?
Yeah, like I said, if this was an actual horror film and I was in it, it would not do well at the box office because I just go find some place to hide and just stay
There,
there, and I'm not coming out. I
there you
mean,
go.
All
I
right.
don't care what I hear.
Mm.
I mean, I don't care what I see. I am staying
What if you
hidden
have to use
and
the bathroom? You're just
See,
going to do
right
it
there.
right there?
If my life depends on it, yeah, I'll just sit there and
Okay.
stand. I mean, yeah.
I love it.
All
I love
right.
it. Hey, but you know what though? I'm gonna tell you this, brother. What you just said your answer is was smarter than what those people did in the movie.
Oh,
So
I'm
Oh
sure.
man.
you know what I'm saying?
And I don't know
So
which one you're talking
Well,
about,
that
but I
one
am sure.
chick that hid it that was hiding in that wine, that was a good place.
that was a good place. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is from Anthropophagus, which
Yeah.
was
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. So,
one of the
Oh man.
craziest. That was a crazy ass movie. It was
Yeah,
a
it was.
crazy ass episode, and one of the
Yeah.
craziest things I've ever seen a monster do in any horror movie. And I don't want to say it, Coriander, don't say it, but
I'm not.
what he did
Oh
was I've
shit.
never seen it as far as the level of disgusting. I've never seen it. It's one of the most disgusting
Yeah.
things I've ever
It,
seen.
it well, I've seen a lot of
I'll
disgusting
watch it
shit,
now.
so I can't say that, but
But
it's
it's
up
up there,
there.
wouldn't you agree?
It's up there. Yes,
Okay.
it's up
All
there.
right. Uh Russell saying I'd be freaking out like what on earth is going on here? Val saying I get to doing the backstroke out of there. I love it.
Right. I'll
I
pick
love
you
it.
up, Val. I'll be in that boat. I'll come get you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Uh, Sarah's in the chat. What's going on, Sarah? Welcome, welcome, saying hi, friends. I can't keep up with all these streams. I know, right? We don't play around here. We really, really don't. Russell saying, "Well, this isn't Gilligan's Island. Sounds more like Lost."
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, that just made me think of it
Ooh.
a little bit differently. Yeah, I love Lost.
Oh my God.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm definitely not gonna do what they did in the movie. I'm definitely gonna find a safe place to kind of stay put. I'm not gonna investigate because that's what they investigated. They found that it was a town, a small little island town, totally deserted. Stuff was there. People lived there, but there were no bodies yet that they could find, and they're investigating it. This is a place they have no idea what's going on. They're investigating it, and they didn't watch out for each other the way they would have. If I was there with five friends, I'd be like, look, we're all staying together. We're going to use the bathroom right around each other. We're not getting out of each other's sights, and we're going to stay huddled up. And your idea as well, Coriander, though, if there was an escape boat, definitely, I would do
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's
I'm
a
not
cruise ship. There's
investigating. I'm
always
looking
rescue
for
boats.
transportation off the island.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
You
that's
could
one thing.
easily make a raft. You could
Yes,
use
true.
vines and shit for rope, so I mean, come on.
It's
I,
true.
we, if I didn't have a raft, I would be definitely out of there one way or another.
One way or the other. That's right.
Yeah, man.
Jordy's in the chat too. What's going on, Jordy? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. We obviously really, really think Sisters is a fantastic movie.
Yes.
We definitely think that
Yes.
you guys
You
should
need to
check it
see it.
out.
hmm This
Absolutely.
is the need to see. Yeah,
It really, really is. And I can't stress it enough. And I also
I
want to
can't
just
either.
take Yeah, and I also want to just take a quick second to thank our fantastic channel members that are
Yeah.
supportive of us. We absolutely we're just
Appreciate
we're
you.
just so appreciative, and also
Yeah.
our patrons, which of course
Yeah.
Neil is one of them, and just
Yeah, he
always
is.
so
Absolutely.
appreciative of the support.
Yeah.
It means someone said earlier, actually, a few comments about, so many streams and so forth. The support that we get, that's part of what allows us to do so much streaming in a week. It really helps to keep the lights on, as my good friend Master Chaos said. So, anyways, but let's talk about what we're going to do for next week, because obviously that's kind of one of those things I'd like to pass out to folks. And next week, what we're going to be doing is a movie that I have seen. I'm not very
I
well
haven't.
versed in it. Well, you don't know. I haven't said what movie it is.
I I gave you the list, man. I
Well,
I should know
well, I
unless you
know the
skip
list.
it.
Well, the list is the list. Okay, so
Okay.
what we're
Oh
gonna
no.
do is a movie from 1981 called Dead and Buried.
Ooh.
Dead and Buried from
Dude, you
1981.
changed it.
Hey man, sometimes you gotta switch up some ingredients. But no, no, no. There's a reason
Oh
for that. And
man.
and Dead and Buried, it is available on Prime, Shutter, Peacock, and also Tubi. So it's readily available to folks to check out. Tubi, of course, is free. You don't get any cheaper than free. So, but that's what we're going to be tackling for next Monday for Slasher Movie Club, Dead and Buried. So hopefully you guys can check it out and join us for a little discussion. Um, oh, and also Carrie jumped into the chat too. Just say hi to Carrie. How's it going, Carrie? All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. Saying just wanted to say
Need to
hello.
see it, Carrie. This is one you
Yes.
need to see.
Yeah. And Dan
hmm
saying a classic, seen it recently. All right. Cool. Very, very cool. All right, guys. Well, let me also just say real quick, I want to thank Neil for jumping on here with us. It's
Absolutely.
it's
Anytime.
it's always fun having you around, man. And it's been so much fun also for our Creep Show series, being able to hang out on the panel with you and everyone else. And it's just a really
hmm
fun time, man. And I'm glad that you were able to do this. And also for you guys and Val, I don't know if you're able to, but if you can put Neil's channel in the live chat, that'd be great. But I'll have his link to his channel in the description of this video. So please, please take a moment after we end the stream. go to Neil's channel, support him by subscribing to his channel. He really is, and I've said this to him a lot, but I really enjoy his takes on movies. He's a fantastic content creator, and just listening to him when he's talking about movies, it almost makes me appreciate movies more, which is great because I love movies so much. So definitely support Neil at Neon Black Reviews. All right. Well, hey guys, thank you so much, and Val, thank you for putting up the reminder to leave a comment in the comment section. Carrie, thank you for putting Neil's link to his channel in the live chat. And please, guys, everyone here, go check him out, sub to his channel. He's fantastic. So,
Yeah, appreciate that.
anyways, oh, you're welcome, man. No need to thank at all.
Yeah,
So
and I think I'm about 25 subs shy of 500. So
Ooh,
yeah.
goal.
nice.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Nice.
right around the corner. So listen, guys,
Yeah.
we gotta get him to 500. I
Yeah.
mean, it's more than well
Sub.
deserved. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
mean, YouTube is a funny thing too, man, and we've talked a little bit about it because you really got to battle. You got to battle to really get that exposure, to get that algorithm to put, your content out so people can find you. It's just crazy. I hear from people all the time, if they do stumble upon the channel, they'll say, "Oh, wow, this is a cool channel. I never heard of you. How long have you been doing this? Where have you been? This is cool." And I'm like, "Dude, we've been around for a while, but
2 years.
yeah, but that's how YouTube is, and you just got to fight the fight. So Jordy saying just subbed. Thank you so
I
much,
appreciate
Jordy.
that.
Nice.
You won't
Welcome
be
aboard.
yeah, you won't be disappointed. Neil has great takes on movies and a broad range of knowledge, so you'll definitely enjoy his channel. But thank you guys so much. We will catch you guys on Slasher Movie Club next Monday. We really appreciate the support. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about Sisters. Let us know what you think about these scenarios that we put out. How would you handle them? And yeah, we'll catch you next time. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Upchurch.